The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
We were all shocked. Australia, the world is shocked what happened over the weekend at Bondi Junction. That stabbing should never have taken place, and we're all just trying to wrap our minds around it. Michelle Stevenson from Nova News in Sydney is down at the memorial right now. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, how are we doing?
Oh, Michelle, it's so much closer and more real for you guys in Sydney, but I have to tell you, it feels just as real here in Perth. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I am a Bondi resident, so you'd be hard-pressed for me to even... Everyone I know has been touched by this in some way. My young son, my 11-year-old son, was at a friend's birthday party just at the VR on level 6, not far from where it all transpired. He managed to leave just 10 minutes before everything had happened. There was a moment of where briefly we did not know where he was, but because we were hearing reports that it was a mass shooting. As you know, things are quite hectic when it's all happening, but we were able to track him down. But I also, I have another friend. His daughter was working at Lululemon. She's 16. She had to leave and step over bodies. It was it's just tragic. There's a lot of kids who are really feeling this. This is deeply felt in the community. I'm just standing here at the makeshift memorial. It's growing. Flowers are just building. It's kind of reminiscent of 10 years ago when we had the Lint Cafe siege as well. Sydney's really kind of waking up to a different world. There's a large police presence still here. It's no longer a crime scene. It's been handed back over to Westfield. We have no clue on when they're going to reopen. It might be a couple of days yet. But, there's just a lot of questions at the moment as to how this happened.
Michelle, I've seen a lot of flowers being laid and wreaths being put out, which is amazing. The community is coming together in such a big manner, and probably you'd say it's just a fantastic representation of Australians getting behind Australians. But can I ask you from a personal level, how many times have you played the what if game when you're talking about your son being at that party?
I was... My Saturday night was really, and I'm going to try not to cry about it because it is that what if. And because I wasn't with him, he was with friends. He didn't have his parents with him, and I think that is almost what is hard for me to get my head around, that I wouldn't be there to protect him. And I think a lot of parents are really feeling that their children were working. They've all got part-time jobs working in the mall. Like a lot of friends, children, they hang out at the mall. This is where the kids go. It's the start of school holidays. They were celebrating, and they're forced to hide in stairwells because they thought there was an active shooter. This is something that's going to resonate a lot with the community. I know my son's school has sent out emails saying we have people on standby if they need to talk. So the support is there, but it's really something that no one could ever fathom.
Michelle, does it kind of feel like this is something that couldn't have been mitigated? Like, this is someone who has some mental health issues. He didn't have a gun; he had a knife. It was silent. He was, obviously killing people. If you hear gunshots, everyone kind of drops and goes for cover. But this was lethal in the fact that people didn't realise what was going on. Like, how do you fathom stopping this happening again in the future?
I mean, I think this is kind of what happens with these lone kind of wolf attacks. Like, you cannot stop this. This is something that hopefully is not going to transpire very often. But, I think we are going to have a look at what systems need to be put into place. I know mental health is a key issue, and when the dust settles on this, we will be looking at kind of what went wrong. I know the New South Wales Police are heading up to Queensland to talk to his family because he had mental health issues from the age of 17, and just devastating for them as well. They had to put out that statement saying we hold no ill will towards the police officer who shot our son. So look, no one's a winner here, but I am very thankful that we live in a country where guns are not so easily
imagine
accessible.
how different it would have been. Imagine that.
It would have been so different.
I was reading a lot of social media posts from mothers as well saying this is so shocking to them, and it hits home for them because a lot of new mothers, they will go to a shopping centre to experience community. My producer Amy, she was saying the same thing when she was pregnant. She would go down to the shopping centre and you'd see other mothers there, and you feel safe. And just the trauma that's going to be connected to that, not only for the people that were down at Bondi Junction, but for anybody that goes to a shopping centre and feels safe. It just
Yeah,
is a new
absolutely. I mean,
world.
it is definitely a new world, and we tragically lost that young mum, Ash, who
Ash,
was
it's
a real big
heartbreaking.
part of the Bondi community, and she had to hand her 9-year-old over to strangers to say help her.
Yeah.
And she's still in intensive care. The young bub is one of 5 still in intensive care. There's 8 still in hospital all up. So prayers and well wishes to them, that hoping that they'll have a speedy recovery as well. So we're not quite out of the woods with everything, but I think there's going to be a lot of questions.
Michelle, there's been a lot of people that we're able to hear their stories about how they helped out, and obviously in particular the police officer that was involved in her professionalism.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what it would take for someone to run towards danger is kind of unfathomable. She's the real hero here. And then, after she did she was
Take
forced
action.
to really fire.
Yeah.
She had to take action, and then she's trying to render assistance to him to make sure she could save his life. And then when that proved futile, she was turning her mind to, other victims and helping them out. So look, that police officer, a real hero in so many people's eyes, but I think this is going to take a while for everyone to kind of get their heads around. We're all in shock. I know with my community, we had a telephone tree. We were checking to make sure everyone was safe. And that's kind of what happens in these instances. The community really comes together.
It's unbelievable. I was reading about how people are feeling traumatised. They can now go back and get their cars from 4 p.m. yesterday.
Yes.
They can go back and get their cars, but a lot of people are too traumatised to go back to the shopping centre, so they're being asked to contact police, and the police will go and pick up their car and then take that home for them. The echoes of this is going to be felt for a very long time. We want to say our thoughts and prayers are for everybody involved, but also just the people in Sydney as well, including you and your loved ones. Michelle, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so
guys.
much.
It's the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Natalie's still on break for another week, but don't worry, Shaun, we have got someone to fill her shoes.
Well, of course, former West Coast Fever superstar that we acknowledge, of course, and of course Australian Diamonds champion Caitlin Bassett. She's a real journalist, by the way, joining us.
Hello, Caitlin Bassett. How are you?
Good morning. I note that you didn't put in former Casanova in there. That is part of my job title and a true part of my identity.
Believe me, the Casanova part, we've just been going over a little trip down memory lane, some of the stuff. Why don't you explain some of the highlights for you?
So I was Casanova, I want to say 2010.
Yeah.
When you first came on board, Shawnee, and we did great things like we had the live cow at the shed.
Remember that?
We took the cow to the shed.
It was Cow Pat Bingo, where we had a cow and then there was grids on the ground and then we were waiting to see which square the cow would poo in and then the person would win. And the cow wasn't pooing all night.
No, we had to give it diuretics.
Yeah. Unbelievable. So then that was one.
We had that. We had the bus where we drove the bus around and visited all the great sausage roll places in WA. That was great as well. We gave away the ruckus. There was just so much stuff.
But what about one of your favourite things? So, Shaun, one of the first team building things that we've done here as you, as an AFL footballer, you've come here and Caitlin was one of your first as well.
So my first Christmas party for Nova, we got told we're going to have a fancy lunch across the road, so we all go over there, and then in walks this lady who then proceeds to get naked, and we had to draw her. Do you remember?
Shaun? Oh my God, she was spring-loaded. I remember that.
Can I just tell you, right? The people that are generally the people that are paid to be life models are usually the people that you don't want to pay to take their clothes off. And this woman, she was just very natural with her body.
I didn't know where to look.
She didn't do any Jim's mowing, and she had dyed it. I think it was bright red or bright purple.
The curtains did not match the
They did not. And then Shaun, she walked straight in and looked at everyone and just faced you.
I didn't know what to do. But what have I got, mate? What am I doing here?
Oh, anyway,
Great memes. But anyways, the Casanovas have gone on to do some pretty amazing things. Like, I worked with Joel Creasy.
Yep.
I had Janine Booth with me.
Talk about Janine Booth.
Oh, well, so she went over to America and did culinary school and then ended up with a chef and now owns a fancy restaurant.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Claire Hooper as well.
Yeah,
Claire Hooper. Unbelievable.
Yep.
But we're still here. And Caden's going to be here all morning.
Oh, great.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Hey, Caitlin, a couple of weeks ago, I had some visitors from Germany who stayed with us for
Guten
3
Tag.
weeks. Yes. We were trying to bring out all the German words, but, you know.
Dankeschön, is that German?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, absolutely.
I feed us there.
That's goodbye, isn't it?
Heidi Colleen said it on Project Runway. Sure, it's got a feed us there. I didn't know what she was
Is that
saying.
hello? Like,
I
good
don't know. I'm
morning?
just saying it phonetically. I don't even know if it's making sense.
No. Anyway, they...
I think it must be goodbye because that when someone gets eliminated, she goes, I feed us there. I feed us there? Yeah, I don't know.
So when they were staying at our house, first of all, I brought this up to Nathan before. Our family puts on its best behaviour. When I say our family, my wife goes
They're
into
liars.
this, just into this level that we're always like this and everything's clean and tidy. Well, it is clean and tidy, but we sit down and have dinner together as a family
You
all the
use
time.
knives and forks and you sit
all
on the
of it.
dinner table, not in front of the TV.
And someone does something that's put their elbow on the table and Megan will be like, oh no, get your elbow off the table. Like, are you kidding me? I was like eating off the floor yesterday.
No one beats each other, in front of each
come
other.
on.
But the interesting thing was when the Germans were about to leave WA, they went on a mad shopping spree, and the number one thing that they picked up was Tim Tams.
Oh, yeah. People, but why are they... I understand it. A Tim Tam's great, no worries.
But you wouldn't go to the... Personally...
I don't understand the big thing about Tim Tams.
I
They're
don't
all
mind a
right.
Tim Tam.
No, but
Yeah.
everyone doesn't mind a Tim Tam.
I mean, if I'm travelling, I'm generally piling my bag with things like shoes and clothes and things like that. So unless they were doing a mad load of shopping here, I understand why they would want to take Tim Tams home.
So wait, why? So how many packets?
28 packets of Tim Tams that they bought on this particular one day. They had a few more that they were having in a
Were they
backpack.
just
So this
all
is
the
a whole
same?
suitcase.
Just the originals, or are
How's
they
this?
getting
No,
the caramels?
they started
and
with the caramel, and most of the
caramel's
first
good.
probably
Yeah, okay.
20 were caramel.
Yeah.
And then they got onto the original ones.
There's the double thicks.
Yeah, so they had a whole suitcase, 28 packets of Tim Tams in that one, just to take home, because apparently over in Germany, all their friends said, you go in Australia, you just need to bring home Tim Tams.
Yeah, right.
That was
Do you
it.
reckon they're selling them on the black market to their friends?
I
They're
hope
going to
so.
make
They're like
that's
drug dealers.
$28,000 in their shopping. in their
like drug
basement.
dealers. I can't think of anything that I'd go to another country for and bring back all the... Nah.
No? No.
I would like to, there's nothing that I have gone overseas and gone, that is so amazing, and I buy 100 of it to bring back here. I have not found that thing.
So
other countries must have their version of Tim Tams. Or
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
something that everyone, you need to bring it back.
So my brother lives in Canada, and every time we go to visit him or when we send care packages home, we have to send him Starburst, which we can't do anymore because they don't make.
Yes.
And chicken salt. So that's something that he
chicken
doesn't.
salt.
They don't have
They
over
don't
there in
have
Canada,
it.
and he just froths on it. So chicken salt.
Chicken salt.
Yeah, they don't have it. And the thing is, people over there, when they taste it as well, they don't get what it is. But yet we've grown up with it. That I don't get how they don't get what it is. You know what I mean? Because there's always been.
Yeah.
I remember the height of fanciness was getting chippy salt put on my chips. I remember the first time I found out you could buy it and have it at home. My mind was blown away. It was like, how is that possible?
You love a seasoning.
I know. So do you want to find out these bulk buying people?
Yeah. Have you been overseas? You've been to a place and you've gone, yeah, I'm taking them all back.
Right.
28 packets of Tim Tams.
All right. It doesn't just have to be food as well. If you found something that's overseas on your travels, maybe you go somewhere a lot and you can't get it here in Australia, or many people here want you to bring it back for them, let us know what that is, because we might want you to get us some too. I do remember, there was one thing, right?
Yeah.
And I went to LA for telethon many years ago, and I'd never been to the Americas, nor had I had many American treats. And while I was over there, it happened at the airport on the way home, because I decided that I was going to get something to eat and I needed something sweet, and I saw Butterfingers, and I never knew, and I'd heard about Butterfingers on the TV. So on American shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while I was there, I just quickly had a bite of this Butterfinger, and that blue, you've had a Butterfinger, haven't you,
I haven't
Sean?
had a Butterfinger, no.
It tastes very bad for you, but it's just, there's something, so it just melts in your mouth. It's sort of like a peanut buttery sort of situation. And I bought about 30 of them and then put them in my bag to bring back.
So back in the day when we used to travel to the UK to play,
Yes.
we used to get given a food allowance.
Yes.
So here's, £20 for you to use. And a lot of us were quite sneaky and we just go down to Pound World and buy up some snacks.
Pound World?
Pound World, yeah, I know. Pound World, yeah. So
I went to a nightclub like that in London.
Pound World's amazing.
So I would spend my £20 at Pound World on the aero balls and I would bring them home with me. So that was something that I would bring home.
Pound World. I could not even with that.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Jess in Byford. Hello, Jess.
Hi, Nathan. How are you?
Good,
Hi.
Jess.
Hey, Jess.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Jess. So, okay, overseas there is something that is so amazing to people in your life, you have to bring a lot of it back. What is that thing?
Marmite from the UK.
Who wants that?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a cheap version of Vegemite. Is it their version of Vegemite?
I think so, because my auntie loves it, so they grew up in the UK, and anytime anyone's over on a trip, it's a staple that's brought back, or any product that's got Marmite, and everything has an equivalent to over here. So there's even a Facebook group on all things Marmite as well.
All things Marmite.
So I don't think I've really ever tasted, because there's Marmite, Promite and Vegemite, right? So Marmite, one's an angry Vegemite. It's like an aggressive Vegemite. Is that Marmite?
I'm not too sure. So I'm split. So I was born here in Australia,
Yeah.
and I can eat both, and I can tell the difference. But I'm a Vegemite girl, whereas the rest of my family is all Marmite, and my auntie has it it's her staple breakfast every day.
Think about what you just said, Nathan. An aggressive version of Vegemite is aggressive at the best
I
of
was
times.
about to say, what do you mean by aggressive?
And I agree with
Spicy?
you.
Well, no, so Vegemite is aggressive, right? So
Yeah,
whenever
it
you
is.
taste, and that's why the Americans, their heads get blown off
Yep.
there because no one tells them the rules.
Whoa!
I was like, just like a small scraping. But like there is one that is like Vegemite that's just like, you open the jar and it's just punching you in the
coming for you,
face,
straight
swinging
up.
at your head. That's
Just
one
yeasty
there, I wonder
goodness,
if.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's just yeasty goodness. And that's it. It's just yeast extract. We're disgusting. Thanks, Jess. Michelle's in Midland. Hey, Michelle.
How you going?
Hey,
Michelle.
Michelle. All right, so where in the world are we travelling first?
Well, just to Bali, like
Okay.
the rest of WA.
Very exotic.
Yeah. Watch out for the dengue fever at their moment, everybody. Watch out for the mosquitoes. All right, so we're in Bali.
Yeah.
What are you bringing back?
I bring back little cubes, like little blocks of satay mix.
Like,
So they're like
they're frozen?
What?
No?
No, they're fresh. They're just like
Stock cubes?
suction seals. Yeah, but bigger, probably about double the size.
So,
And they're so satay cubes. You can. So I guess you make your own satay sticks and whatever
Wait,
else
did you
you're
say
doing.
satay? It's satay.
Satay.
what is that?
Satay.
Saturday.
I'm from
Yeah,
Wilmington,
so
man.
you can actually use it as like you do your chicken satay sticks, and then you can just dissolve the little cube and use that as your satay. Or it's amazing in a stir fry. You just chuck in a cube and you've got this amazing Bali dish.
What brand is this stuff?
Oh, there's different brands, and you know what? I'm thinking of that as I was waiting, and I thought I can't remember the brand, but there's one in particular that's amazing, and it's just all your natural herbs and spices into a little cube.
And you can't buy it in Australia. It can only be bought in Indonesia.
I haven't been able to find it here, so I'm straight off to Bintang supermarket every
Yes.
time I go there.
And how
One on
many?
And you can
Seminyak
buy-
Road.
Yeah.
That's the one, and you can just buy a suction seal bag of half a dozen or a dozen. They're amazing.
And how many do you bring back with you?
I bring back about 6 to 8 packs, and they've all got about 12 in them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And what's the Australian equivalent? How much does it cost in the Aussie dollar?
Oh, the pack's about $3.
Okay, and
No.
is this a declaring thing? I watch a lot of border security with mum and dad is all, and I see a lot of people coming back with like half a dozen, like half a kilo of monkey head or whatever in their suitcase. So will you declare this?
Yeah, you probably should. No, I do declare it just in case, but they always look at the packaging working and goes, you're fine.
Yeah, it's all sealed up.
You
There's
don't have to
monkey
hide it
heads,
on
is
your
there?
body. It's fine.
Doesn't it blow you away, this border security?
every time.
Why do you need to come over here with all that food?
I
we
don't
have
get
food
it.
over here. And like, I love Aussie food. I don't travel with it to another country.
No, you don't take a suitcase full.
A suitcase full. And where are your clothes? All you've got in there is various necks. Anyway,
feet,
that's
chicken feet.
Oh, it's so insane.
That's so true.
Thanks, Michelle. Cassie's in Bondi. Hey, Cassie.
Hi, how you going?
Good,
Cassie.
Cassie.
All right, so where in the world are we talking?
I'm actually talking about taking things somewhere else from Australia.
Okay, where are we going?
So to Sweden,
Okay.
where my sister lives.
Yeah.
So she's been there almost 21 years, and I've only been there 3 times. So the last time was last year.
Yeah.
And I took over about 6 bottles of Ice Magic.
Oh, my
A
God.
variety of flavours or
Ice
just the one
Magic.
type? Or?
Just plain old choc flavour
no,
Ice
choc
Magic.
mint is the best.
No, not choc. I prefer choc mint, but she doesn't. And pawpaw ointment, the big red tub of
yes.
pawpaw ointment. I
Okay.
took 2 over.
Okay,
Yeah.
that
Ice
pawpaw,
magic.
that pawpaw
Okay.
ointment, to me, that fixes everything.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's amazing. You know,
she
but,
calls it the miracle cream.
but
She
the
uses it for everything.
were you an Ice Magic family? Were you?
We were, yes. Yeah.
Does she know that she can make that at home? There's a homemade version.
What do
It's
you
literally
mean?
melted chocolate and coconut oil.
And coconut oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've made it before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
she
that's
does
what
know that.
hardens
But,
it.
That's what hardens it when it hits the
Yeah.
ice cream.
Because that stuff's amazing.
Yeah.
Because think about it, if you were like, you know, like needing to get away to from someone on a motorbike and you didn't have a helmet, you just pour that stuff on your head. and it gets
Save his
hard.
houses,
It's
mate.
unbelievable.
That was like, I remember occasionally it would be in our house and I would just think, this is the moment. We've made it as a family. We've got Ice Magic.
Well, because it was Harry Potter stuff. It was actually magic.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.